this is Brittany, and I want to share with you 5 minutes of faith about running. I've been running for about 8 years now and really appreciate the joy and peace that it brings to my life. I feel very grounded when I go out and I leave all of my worries and stresses of my life behind and unplug from my technology and just think. This sport has brought me a lot of friends and it has made me feel like I belong to a much larger community. But I know that not everyone does. It's easy for me to feel accepted within this larger community because the people there look like me. When you think of a distance runner, you're probably picturing someone who is white, tall, and slender. But that's not everyone within this community. And today I want to talk about how this is a problem. Running is and has always been political. This is not something new that happened within the last month or so with the tragic death of Ahmaud Arbery. It's been like this a lot longer. And with that, I want to talk about a story of not death, but also inherent racism within this community. Alafine Tuliamuk was the winner of the 2020 Olympic Marathon Trials in February. This was an incredible race to watch, and I highly recommend looking up more about Alafine Tuliamuk. But her story was not told well at all. In fact, it was told with the lens that focuses more on her first decade of life in Kenya rather than her training and its accomplishments as an incredible athlete here in the United States. She moved for her education and has made great waves within the running world since then, with the peak being her 2020 Olympic Marathon Trial win and her representation of us at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. But those early stereotypical parts of her life in Kenya are what the media focused on. This did not do justice to an incredible athlete, and it's stories like this that make people feel ostracized within a community that should be open and welcoming to everyone. After all, almost anyone can run, and almost anyone can run really fast, in that people of all genders and shapes and sizes and ethnicities can be incredible at this sport. And so with that, I want to go back to the story of Ahmaud Arbery. And this time I want to compare it to some other stories of deaths within the running world that we may have heard of. These are the deaths of young white women in their 20s and 30s that look a lot like me. Something that they have in common with Ahmaud's story is that they're wearing things that people say made them targets for this. Maybe they didn't necessarily deserve it, but it's implied that the clothes that they're wearing kind of made them deserve it, so it was partially on them. But unlike Ahmaud's story, none of these women were told that they were criminal. It was not assumed that they deserved it for that reason. And I want to highlight that because it's something that's been on my mind a lot as a white woman, that if something tragic happened to me while running, I would not be painted with that same brush as Ahmaud Arbery. So while those stories are tragic as well, the steps that we take to change the institutions and our biases are very different. And so with all of this in mind, what now? Well, for that, I want to take you to one of my favorite verses in scripture that has to do with running. Hebrews 12:1. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. This harkens back to the end of chapter 11 of Hebrews, where we hear about all of our favorite Old Testament heroes and the trials they faced. And the idea is that, like them, God has a plan for us. And there are things that we have to accomplish and endure in this world, but that it's all supposed to be worth it in the end. And so I think today in this world, our challenge is that we need to learn how to talk about racism and do our part in changing the institutions that surround us, even in something like sport, where we might not always see it, as well as challenging our own internal bias. That is our race that has been set out for us, and I hope to see you at the starting line, and maybe one day we'll all get to see the finish line. Thank you so much.